In the heart of Ireland, near the cliffs that overlook the restless Atlantic Ocean, there lived a young woman named Eliza. She was 23, lively in appearance, yet her spirit seemed burdened. Her friends often said she had the brightest eyes in the village, but those eyes rarely sparkled anymore. Eliza's mind was never still. When she walked to the marketplace, her thoughts ran ahead of her steps. She would recall old arguments with her father, moments of embarrassment from years ago, and worries about what tomorrow might bring. At night, while the sea sang its steady rhythm against the rocks, Eliza lay awake, restless, unable to close her mind. Her life felt like a storm inside a small room, wind howling, things knocking about, and no door to escape. One afternoon, while returning from the market, she overheard two old fishermen talking. One of them, pointing toward the distant hills, said, "They say there's a healer who lives beyond the forest. He was once a professor in Dublin, a man of great learning, but now he spends his days in silence, helping people who come with troubled hearts." Eliza stopped in her tracks. She had never left her village except for short visits to nearby towns, but something stirred inside her, a faint hope. Perhaps this man could help her find peace. That night, she told her mother, "I want to travel to the hills. I've heard of a wise man who helps people like me." Her mother looked worried, but saw the sincerity in her daughter's face. "If your heart feels restless, then you must go. Sometimes we must walk far to find what is already within." So, with a small bag and a determined step, Eliza began her journey. She walked through meadows where sheep grazed lazily, crossed small streams where her reflection looked back at her with questioning eyes, and climbed paths lined with heather and gorse. Each step was tiring, but her hope kept her moving. After 3 long days, she reached a small wooden cottage tucked at the edge of the forest. Vines curled over the windows, and the sound of birds echoed all around. On the porch sat an elderly man, his hair as white as sea foam. His eyes were closed, his breathing steady, as though the whole world moved in rhythm with him. Eliza hesitated, then spoke softly. "Sir, my mind will not rest. It chases thoughts of yesterday and fears of tomorrow. I cannot find peace. Can you help me?" The man opened his eyes, calm and gentle. A small smile spread across his face. "Peace, child, is not far," he said. "But before I tell you, I will give you something to do. Come with me." The old man stood slowly, leaning on a wooden stick. He led Eliza to the back of the cottage where a small garden stretched out. In the center was a clay bowl filled with sand, and beside it lay a candle and a matchbox. He lit the candle and placed it carefully in Eliza's hands. The flame was small but steady. "Now," he said, "walk through the forest path to the stream and return here. But remember, you must not let the flame go out." Eliza looked at the candle in surprise. The forest was alive with wind, and the path was uneven. "What if it blows out?" she asked. The man only smiled. "Then you must learn to shield it. Go, child." So Eliza began. She cupped her hands around the flame, holding her breath whenever the wind grew strong. As she walked, she passed laughing children near the berry bushes, a farmer calling his goats, and the sound of birds chasing each other through the branches. But she hardly noticed them. Her eyes were on the tiny flame, her steps slow and careful. When she reached the stream, she paused. The water glittered under the sun, inviting her to look longer, but she dared not turn her gaze away. She returned with the candle still burning, her arms tired, but her heart strangely calm. The old man was waiting. He looked at the glowing candle and then at Eliza. "Well done. But tell me, did you see the birds playing above you? Did you hear the laughter of the children?" Eliza frowned. "No, I didn't. I was thinking only of the flame." The man nodded gently. "Exactly. For that moment, your mind was in one place, on one task. You were not remembering the past or fearing the future. You were present, fully alive, with no space for the storm of restless thoughts." Eliza's heart trembled. She understood. Peace was not hidden in distant places or in other people. It was hidden in the way she looked at this very moment. The man touched her shoulder kindly. The mind is like this flame. Protect it from the winds of regret and worry. If you stay with the present, the flame will always shine. Eliza bowed her head, whispering, "Now I see. Peace was with me all along. I only needed to stop wandering in time." The evening sun fell across the hills as she walked back toward her village. The sea still roared against the cliffs, but inside her, the storm had quieted. For the first time in many years, Eliza smiled, not because her life had changed, but because she had.